I'm taking on a new challenge, going to be beating every single game ever released for the Nintendo 64, including PAL and Japanese exclusives, with no guides and all done on console, just as it was intended back in the day. The twist is, the next game that I play in the challenge will be selected randomly. I have no idea what's coming next. This was inspired by the Mexican runner's NES Mania challenge back in the day, beating all the games for the NES, as well as an old school RuneScape YouTuber named Tedious, who has a series called Generate Tasks. Basically combine the two ideas to come up with this challenge, and it's really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it and hope you guys enjoy it too. The second game I played for this challenge was Diddy Kong Racing, developed by Rare and released in 1997. A lot of you probably had this game. It was very popular back in the day, and what's interesting is everybody who knows the N64 knows Mario Kart 64, but pretty much everybody also knows Diddy Kong Racing. Both games did very well and were very popular. And they were popular for good reason, as you guys will see in this video. So when you first turn on the game, you're greeted with the announcer saying, "Diddy Kong Racing!" And like the title screen music plays, just the voice, the music, all the sounds of the menus, it's just so much nostalgia. I played this game a lot as a kid. I don't think I ever beat it though, but we will be beating it here. So when we first start the game, we're prompted which racer we want to select, and there's some familiar faces there. Obviously there's Diddy Kong, you know, he's in the title. I'd hope you'd expect him to be there, but there's also Banjo from Banjo-Kazooie, and hey, that's Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day. Those games actually hadn't been released yet, so players playing Diddy Kong Racing at launch, they had no idea that they were playing some of the most iconic characters on this console. The other racers, not so familiar. Tip Tup the Turtle, Crunch the Kremling, Bumper the Badger, Timber the Tiger, and Pipsy the Mouse. And apparently all the racers have different stats for things like speed, acceleration, handling, weight, but I just decided to use Diddy Kong for the whole game. He's just average in all stats, so, you know, kinda neutral. Anyway, the plot of this game is, well, it's as good as it can be for a racing game. Timber and all his friends are having a good time racing around on their island, and suddenly an evil space pig named Wizpig shows up and decides to take over. No idea why, he just felt like being a jerk, I guess. He's created a series of challenge races for them to conquer if they want things back to normal. They don't really show this off during the game though, so I guess you're just supposed to learn the lore from the manual or something. One thing I really appreciated about this game over others is there's actually a story and like a single player mode to compete rather than just, hey, here's some races to do, also maybe time trials, whatever. Even if it ultimately boils down to just racing over and over, it at least feels like you're playing a full game. So when you first get into the game, you're greeted by this elephant genie dude. He's got an Indian accent. Oh yeah, this game actually has voice acting. It's, I'm here to help you. He's like, yeah, I'm here to help you or whatever. I guess he just doesn't like pigs. Like, he's just here, he wants to help. So the job is to find the challenge races set up by Wizpig, complete them, and then take Wizpig himself on in a final challenge. One unique thing about this game over most other driving games is that it features an overworld where you can drive around to find races. You'll occasionally find golden balloons in the overworld, which help you unlock more races. Gameplay for this game is pretty simple, but it gets complex at a higher level. There are 3 different types of vehicles you race in: cars, hoverboats, and airplanes. Controls are basic, you know, just accelerate, brake, and drift. Drifting feels really smooth. I like it a lot better than Mario Kart. And during a race you might see bananas, boost pads, and different colored balloons. The bananas give you a passive speed boost as you collect more of them. The boost pads, well, they boost your speed. Naturally. The balloons are the different power-ups you can get, similar to an item block in Mario Kart. The color of the balloon corresponds to what you'll receive. Red is an attacking projectile, blue is a boost, and green is a trap to slow others down. Yellow is a shield, and rainbow is a magnet that will pull you towards a racer in front of you. You can also stack power-ups of the same type to obtain a stronger version. So for example, you can collect 3 balloons in a row to get a massive speed boost. So we get to the first area and there's 4 tracks to race through to earn golden balloons. These races are really easy, with the devs just trying to, you know, allow you to get used to the game controls. It definitely takes a bit to get comfortable with controlling the car, but once you do, it's honestly amazing. The drifting is just so smooth, and once you master it, you can make some insane turns. After beating the 4th race, it opens up a boss race. We have to race this big dinosaur dude. It's kind of weird because you're driving and the dinosaur's just running, but it seems evenly matched because the dinosaur's really fast. This is noticeably more difficult than the earlier races, but it's still not very bad. And after beating him, you'd expect some awesome reward, right? Well, instead he just says you have to complete some additional races, then take on his real challenge. Oh my god, I thought I was gonna lose. I was about to rage. So after that, what the devs decided to do is make you replay the previous races, but this time there will be 8 silver coins placed in various parts of the tracks. So since you probably felt comfortable racing through the courses optimally in the previous runs, now you have to take a new approach to make sure you touch all of the coins. Some of them are really easy and others are just absolutely obnoxious. Dude, this coin is just rude. Another thing I immediately noticed is the other races are faster now. Guess the devs decided you had enough time to warm up and they threw you into a real challenge. Another thing you can do to obtain golden balloons is after getting so many, the elephant dude will ask you to race him in the overworld. They're very basic and easy, but I guess it's at least some sort of additional content. After beating all the races with the silver coins, we can take on the dinosaur's 2nd race, and he's much faster this time around. This was definitely the first struggle point of the game for me, but it didn't take more than like 5 tries to beat. And beating the 2nd race gives us a chunk of a pig amulet, which we will need to finish the game. Onto the 2nd area, and it's a set of snow-themed courses. These were my favorite courses in the game. I think it's just something about the winter or snowy theme that made me like it. Could also be that they were still relatively easy and the game hadn't gotten too hard yet. Either way, the goal here is the exact same: win races and get golden balloons so we can challenge the boss. The boss in this area is a huge walrus dude who somehow flops his way down the track. It's kind of funny looking. The boss is also pretty easy and I beat him after a few tries. Once again, he asks you to replay the races while collecting silver coins, then challenge him again. You'll start to see this pattern a lot in this game. The first course really gave me any trouble was the 2nd play of Frosty Village. It has some difficult silver coins to grab, especially one just before the finish line that's basically out in the water. Still, it only took around 10 minutes of trying and I knocked it out and was able to face the walrus a 2nd time. It's noticeably harder the 2nd time around, but I was able to get a pretty clutch win against him. It was pretty sweet. What the? Dude, he just zoomed! A hacker! Get wrecked! Get wrecked, walrus! Get wrecked, walrus! Get wrecked, walrus! Yes! 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 And half the pig amulet has been obtained. So World 3 was like this tropical island themed area, which means lots of water and lots of hoverboat racing. I definitely like the hoverboat the least out of the available vehicles. The way it turns is just so jarring compared to the other two. Overall though, the races here were pretty easy to clear and I knocked them out without too much trouble. The boss in this area is a big octopus dude and he's constantly laying mines on the ground, which is very annoying. But all you have to do is pass him once and then those won't be a factor. One weird thing with this boss compared to the others is that you race around the track with laps instead of just one big track with no laps. Not sure if this was a design decision or maybe something to do with time constraints, but it's fun either way. After beating him, we get the same spiel about silver coins, so back to racing we go. None of these are really difficult honestly, so not much to say. Back to the octopus, and this time he lays bubbles instead of mines, which are much worse, and he lays them a lot more frequently. Still, the same idea applies where if you pass him once, he can't lay them in front of him, so it's free to win after that. Nice. After beating him, we get the 3rd piece of the pig amulet. The entrance to the 4th world is hidden behind a waterfall, and I kinda don't know why they did this. It made me pretty frustrated not knowing where to go to continue the game, so if I was a kid playing this, I probably would've just quit. I'm not trolling, I don't see it. This waterfall. What the heck? But once you do find it, you get to World 4 and it's this medieval castle type thing. The races here are pretty standard. You know, one level has a drawbridge and a moat, which is pretty cool. The races are really just standard stuff at this point. And after beating them, we get to the 4th boss, this big dragon thing. And this is a flying race, which makes it kind of hard to hit him with missiles. It's not too tough to beat him, and then the same idea with the silver coin races happens. And in World 4 is definitely the hardest race in the game for me. Greenwood Village Silver Coins. Beating this race normally isn't too bad because you can take the track optimally. But when you have to get all the silver coins, it's nuts. There's some really tight turns that need to be made. You can't mess up much at all or else you won't get first and then no gold balloon for you. I think this one took me over 20 minutes to clear, but I definitely got very comfortable with drifting after mastering this track. Yes! Oh my god, dude. Oh, so rough. After that, we have to race the dragon a second time, and it honestly wasn't that difficult. So now, the full pig amulet has been obtained. So now that we have the full pig amulet, we unlock the place Wizpig was hiding inside of a rock. He likes to laugh a lot and basically talk a lot of smack, and unfortunately he actually backs it up. The race against Wizpig is nuts. The atmosphere they created really makes you feel like this is the biggest challenge of the game. There's like this huge rainstorm with lightning, the music is loud and fast-paced. And Wizpig just stomps around. He does not hold back at all. This race is special in that there's no item balloons, only boost pads, so the only thing to get you through is your driving ability. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is there's an advanced technique that's pretty much required to beat Wizpig. When you go over a boost, if you let off the gas before hitting it, you'll get an even bigger boost that lasts longer. You can tell if you did it right based on if the exhaust from your boost is green rather than purple. And I had to master this before I was able to come close to winning. But once I did, I kept getting closer and closer and closer until after around 40 minutes or so, I finally beat him. No! Wow, okay. Well, I missed 2 boosts. And it felt really good. Like, you could tell that this was tough, and it was definitely something that pushed me to my limits for the driving game. And after beating him, he gets smited by lightning or something, and everyone throws a big party on the island to celebrate. But little do they know, Wizpig is actually completely fine. And he lets them know by ruining their party and laughing some more. Then he flies away in a spaceship. So it turns out he flew away to his home planet, and the lighthouse on the beach has somehow become a spaceship, and we can take it to beat him once and for all. The environment in the space races is awesome. There's projectiles, electricity, one of the courses even has a loop. Unfortunately, there's no boss in this area, so after we beat all the races, we just immediately unlocked the silver coin races. And honestly, none of these were as hard as Greenwood Village in World 4, but they were very fun. And after we beat the silver coin races, Wizpig's lair is revealed, and we can beat him once and for all. This time he rides around on a rocket ship, so we race him in the airplane. We get the same music as last time, but outside of that, this race is completely different. There's items to use this time, and you're going to need them. Many of my viewers said this was much easier than the last one, but I disagree. I had just as much trouble with this second race against him as I did the first. There's even this giant chaotic section with projectiles from every single direction. Thankfully, the devs put a shield power-up right before it because even they knew it was way too hard. After beating him the second time, his rocket ship's launched into the moon and it explodes. Finally, we get rid of him. Oh no, he's gonna blow up the moon. Everyone is happy again on the island, and even the bosses are there to join in. Unfortunately for them, Wizpig seemed flying away in his spaceship, so I guess they still didn't really take him out. And yeah, so him flying away, it turns out there was actually a sequel planned to this game called Donkey Kong Racing, and unfortunately we will never get to play that or see what it was like, because I think in 2002 Microsoft purchased Rare and Nintendo did not put up a fight to keep them and just let them go, so Donkey Kong Racing never happened. There did end up being a Diddy Kong Racing remake on the DS with all the Rare characters removed. I actually haven't played that, but I heard it's pretty good, so if you're interested in seeing a more modern version of this game, maybe look into that. So there you have it. That's my journey to beating Diddy Kong Racing. For this game, I didn't get 100% completion, and there's actually a lot of optional content I didn't cover. There's a hidden key in each world to unlock the multiplayer levels, and you can also do a circuit-style race for each world to get a trophy. Kind of like the circuits you do in Mario Kart where you have points based on your place. There's also time trial races on each stage, and if you beat a certain goal on all of them, you unlock the time trial clock as a secret racer. Apparently he's absolutely overpowered. And after beating the game, you unlock a second adventure, which is the exact same game, but all the tracks are mirrored. I decided not to do this because it wouldn't be very different from beating the regular game. Basically beating the game twice to me. I'm not really sure what you get if you finish it. Hopefully there's some sick reward. But yeah, honestly this game's awesome. The controls are great, music's amazing, and I really like that there was a story mode in a racing game. Just beating this at all takes a lot of skill, because that race against Wizpig is no joke. I think I give this game a 9 out of 10 for enjoyment. It was awesome. The only thing is, because it's a racing game, it gets kind of repetitive, so can't give it a 10. And I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for difficulty. I didn't struggle too much on the game, but the race against Wizpig is definitely real tough, so that's why I gave it that rating. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching if you made it this far. I'm going to put out a video for each game on the N64, and it's going to be a really long journey. But it's been a ton of fun so far, and I'm very excited for more. So thank you guys, and see you next time.